Before I ever got involved, before I became an environmental lawyer, before I ever began to work on these issues, I was an expeditionary mountaineer, and I worked for Outward Bound for a long time, and still involved in a lot of my personal time, when we can find it, is spent outside. And many years ago, I spent a lot of time climbing and teaching in the Glacier National Park and in Wyoming, where there are wonderful glaciers, and all over British Columbia and Alaska. But particularly, I think the most powerful moment for me was going back to Glacier National Park a few years ago, having not been there for quite a while. This is a park that's named, right? It's two countries, the United States and Canada, some of the biggest glaciers in North America. And Glacier National Park has almost no glaciers left and very, very few snowfields. I happened to have an opportunity to fly over the entire park, both the Canadian and United States portions of it, for a whole day, with the opportunity to share with some press and others what was happening on the ground. And I found myself almost unable to speak, sitting in the front cockpit of the plane with a headphone on and getting choked up, because I climbed those glaciers. I actually fell in a crevasse in those glaciers. And glaciers, for those of you who've ever been, I've climbed in the Himalayas. Glaciers are bigger than big. Glaciers are worlds. The notion that a glacier could disappear in my adult life was incomprehensible to me. The vastness of them, the depth, the huge massifs that they encompass, and to be able to not just go back into the Himalayas, but also to go here in the United States and actually fly over a national park whose name will have to be changed very shortly, because there are almost no glaciers left, and to see things that I climbed and was fearful of my life in and learned how to do crevasse rescue in are gone, virtually gone, had an impact on me that it's really hard to describe. People in the natural world are not, this notion that it's sort of like the economy or the environment. Really? What part of an intellectual construct is that? They're not separable. What is it that the natural world and people are separate? The natural world is, we inhabit the natural world. We are of the natural world. It is a source of unbelievable joy and connection. The notion, last night in one of the panels I was on, we were having conversations about the motivation of one of the panelists, learning about going to the Galapagos and seeing this incredibly rich biodiversity. And one of the questions, well, people really don't necessarily care about finches. There are people who don't really care about certain species of trees. And one of the things we were talking about afterwards is it doesn't really matter if you don't care about a particular finch or a glacier, or you haven't climbed on glaciers like I have. There are parts of the natural world that connect to all of us, and our connection to our planet is part of who we are as a people. And changing our planet is also changing us. So this is not just about that part of the world that I love very much, but it's also about all of us at the same time.